Most people don't realize this, but your brain doesn't reflect who you are. It's just who you have been. And the moment you stop reinforcing the past, you can literally become someone new. Because your brain doesn't run on truth, it runs on repetition. Whether that's helpful or destructive, it keeps wiring in whatever you do and feel the most. So the real question is, are you training it to become more of the old you, or the version of you who already has everything that you're chasing? See, everything in your life, your habits, your personality, even the way you feel about yourself, they didn't just happen. They were wired in. Your brain's job is to automate whatever you repeat. Now, that's not a flaw. That's how we humans learn. That's how we adapt. And that's actually good news, because if your brain learned to be one version of you, it can just as easily learn to become another. In this video, I'll show you how to rewire your brain using neuroplasticity, the science of how your brain reshapes itself through what you think, feel, and do on repeats. You will learn how your identity was wired in, why most change doesn't last, and how to shift into the version of you who already has the life you want. This isn't mindset fluff. It's neuroscience paired with structure. And once you get it, change becomes predictable. Let's start with the basics. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change itself, to reorganize, rewire, and physically reshape its connections based on what you do, feel, and think repeatedly. Imagine you're walking through a forest. The more you walk the same trail, the more defined it becomes. And eventually, that path becomes automatic. That's how your habits work. That's how your beliefs form. That's how your identity locks in. So if you've spent years walking the trail of "I'm not good enough" or "I always procrastinate," guess what? That's the strongest path in your brain. And unless you stop walking it, your brain will keep dragging you back there automatically. But here's the power. You can forge a new trail. You can create new connections, new reactions, and a new self-concepts. It just takes repetition and emotional intensity, two things your brain loves. Now, let's touch on where most self-help falls apart. See, people typically try to fix their life using the same structure that created their problems in the first place. They try to hustle their way out of anxiety. They try to affirm their way out of insecurity. But they never change the neural structure underneath. So even if they get temporary results, they snap back. Why? Because their brain is still wired for the old identity. Think of it like this. Trying to build a new life with your old neural wiring is like installing a new app on a broken operating system. It crashes. Or even worse, it corrupts everything else. To create lasting change, you can't just change your behavior. You have to change your structure, the internal blueprint that tells your brain who you are and what is safe to have. And that's what neuroplasticity gives you access to. Here's something most people never think about. Your identity, who you think you are, is not some mystical, unchangeable essence. It's a neural network. It's just a series of thoughts, memories, emotional reactions, and behaviors that have been repeated so many times your brain thinks, yep, this is me. If you've been living in survival mode, thinking small, or doubting yourself, your brain has literally wired that into your sense of self. But because of neuroplasticity, you can literally fire and wire a new identity. And when you do it correctly, you won't have to try to act like the new you. It will feel natural, familiar, obvious, because your brain will start saying, yeah, this is me now. And if that sounds crazy to you, just remember, you've already done this before. You weren't born shy, anxious, or insecure. You learned that way of being. Well, now it's time to unlearn it. On purpose. Let's talk a little bit about resistance. That feeling you get when you're just about to do the right thing, but then you start scrolling, or reorganizing your apps, or suddenly deciding your inbox needs to be at 0. That's not laziness, and it's not self-sabotage either. That's your nervous system doing exactly what it's been trained to do. You've built neural pathways that say action is risk and growth is unsafe. And the moment you step outside your comfort zone, your brain fires up the old survival protocol. Retreat, delay, distract. It doesn't matter even if the outcome is positive. If it's unfamiliar, your brain flags it as danger, because the only thing it trusts is what it has seen before. So what you call procrastination is really just your brain walking the same familiar pathway labeled stay small, stay safe, stay the same. And here's the kicker. Every time you listen to that resistance, you reinforce the wiring. You make that path stronger, faster, more automatic. But every time you respond differently, even in a tiny way, you weaken that old pattern and start carving a new one. The moment you act as the version of you who shows up anyway, even when it's uncomfortable, you are not just disciplined, you are rewiring your identity. Okay, let's make this practical. Here's a 5-step formula you can use to start rewiring your brain right now. Step 1, make a true choice. Not a goal, a decision. Who are you choosing to be? What's that end result that's non-negotiable for you right now? For example, I choose to create an easy, lucrative, and fun business. When you do that, it activates a new structure in the brain. Step 2, step into the emotion. Don't wait for the outcome to feel different. Feel it now. The more emotion you can generate in the present, the faster that new identity wires in. Step 3, rehearse it daily. Mentally rehearse being the new version of you. How do they wake up? What do they say yes to or no to? What do they expect from life? Step 4, interrupt the old pattern. When those old habits show up, like procrastinating, overthinking, or talking yourself out of it, don't fight them. Just leave the baby crying. You don't need to fix the feeling. You don't need to make it go away. You just need to take a different action, even something small. Every time you act in alignment with the new version of you, you weaken the old pattern and reinforce the new one. Step 5, recode the resistance. This is the deep work that I do with clients. We shift the unconscious resistance at the root where it's actually stored. Because if your system still sees your new identity as unsafe, you will keep hesitating, second-guessing, or sabotaging progress without even realizing why. With Recode, we can clear that internal friction. It tells your brain and body, this version of me is safe now. That way, change doesn't feel like a fight. It feels more natural. It feels like home. Here's the bottom line. Your brain is plastic. It's built to change. It doesn't cling to the past. It just follows whatever pattern is repeated the most. That means you're not stuck because of who you are. You're just running a system that was wired in over time. And the real power is this. You are not just reacting to that system, you're the one programming it. Every time you choose a new thought, a new action, or a new identity, you're sending different instructions, and your brain listens. You don't need to fight the old code. You just need to stop reinforcing it and start consistently installing the version of you that matches the life you actually want. Because in the end, your brain isn't deciding who you become. You are. Remember, the brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more it grows. If you want to do this faster and deeper, I created something that's built specifically for this type of transformation. It's called Superconscious Creator. It's a program designed to help you recode resistance, step into creative structure, and rewire your brain. Not just for a moment of inspiration, but for lasting identity level change. Inside, I'll show you how to make real choices, shift the structure that's been keeping you stuck, and access your superconscious to pull in the next level of your life. You don't have to force change. You just need the right structure and the right tools. And that's exactly what you'll get. Click the link below, join the free group, check out the course, and let's rewire your future.